The NFL draft is a time of hope and optimism for every franchise in the league, as talented prospects from the college level get an opportunity to live their lifelong dreams while teams improve their rosters. However, every year, there are winners and losers of the draft. This year, one of them happens to be the San Francisco 49ers, who received heavy criticism from fans and the sports media world alike for how they reached for players, leading to a subpar draft class on paper. It's obviously too early to tell whether these players end up being successful in the NFL or not, but it's where these players were taken and the players that were still left on the board at the time that confuses and enrages the Niners faithful. Since the duo took over a decade ago, General Manager John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan have led one of the most successful teams in the league, making 5 playoff appearances, including 2 trips to the Super Bowl. Now, an important part and something you should remember is that the success has led to players and coaches alike, such as Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel, and D'Amico Ryan, to leave for other teams, whether it be for opportunity or money. In return, the Niners have received a ton of compensatory picks, which are additional draft selections awarded to teams that lose more or better value free agents than they acquire. Compensatory picks range from the 3rd round all the way to the 7th round, with teams being able to keep a maximum of 4 of the highest picks in each draft. Essentially, it's a way to encourage and reward teams for developing homegrown talent. Now, it does get a bit more complicated with the special compensatory picks that our teams receive through the minority coaching hires via the Rooney Rule. If coaches and front office personnel are hired to a head coach or GM role for a different team, the original team, which is the 49ers in this case, would receive 2 third-round picks in each of the following drafts. Teams are able to receive a maximum of 2 of these picks every single year. But yeah, here's a list of every compensatory pick the Niners have had since Lynch and Shanahan have been in the building. But yeah, the Niners really excelled in this area and have led the league in comp picks 4 times out of the 5 past drafts. Taking a look at this 2026 draft class, here's who they took. After trading back from the 1st round, they took Desmond Stribling, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss. Then in the 3rd round, they took Romello Height out of Texas Tech, as well as Kalen Black, the running back out of Indiana. On day 3, they took Grayson Halton, the D tackle out of Oklahoma. Then they took a pair of Washington Huskies and Carver Willis, the offensive tackle, and Ephesians Prysock, the cornerback. In round 5, they took Jalen Duggar, the outside linebacker from Louisiana, as well as Enrique Cruz, another offensive depth piece from Kansas. There were some great players in here, including defensive end Romello Height at 70th overall, who, while undersized, was ultra productive, racking up 10 sacks this season, as well as Oklahoma D tackle Grayson Halton, a 3-4 technique, 1 gap rusher in the 4th round. They also had Ephesians Prysock, the corner out of Washington, who brings elite length and size at nearly 6'4" and 196 pounds. But the value of where they took these players is what's being argued about. Desmond Stribling out of Ole Miss was the first big shocker at 33rd overall. Across both PFF and the mock draft database, the pick was on average a 65.5 spot reach. Other receivers such as Denzel Bossom from Washington and Alabama wide receiver Jeremy Bernard were still on the board at the time. Stribling's a phenomenal player in his own right, and is a scheme fit for the Niners as a big body possession receiver who's able to block in the run game and has the flexibility to both play in the slot and as an X receiver, kind of similar to what Juwan Jennings did for them. However, there was still a pretty good chance that he would have been there late in the 2nd or early in the 3rd round at pick 70, where they took Romello Height. They reached once again with running back Kalen Black from Indiana, taking him on an average 94.5 spots higher than consensus, which is absolutely ridiculous. He's the first player not invited to the combine selected and became the 6th running back taken over the last 6 years by the franchise. While it was a significantly weaker running back class compared to previous years, it shouldn't warrant a 3-round reach. Shanahan later went on the Rich Eisen show to defend this pick, saying that, Black was the number 2 rated running back of the class, and that they didn't want to get cute and not risk getting him. Dane Brugler of The Athletic had him ranked as the 10th best running back of the class, behind guys like Mike Washington Jr. and Emmett Johnson, both of which went later on. It's honestly become a recurring story that's all too familiar for Niners fans. But see, reaching for guys isn't an issue if the players end up working out. But that's the thing, their track record has not been great. The 3rd round in particular might be the worst. Out of the 17 picks they've had over the past decade, nearly every single player was taken over consensus. The only 2 that weren't were Dominic Pooney, who's a starting guard for them, and Romello Height this year. Of those picks, 7 of them were either released before their rookie contracts expired or never even played it down for the team, including guys like tight end Cameron Latu, who started 2 games for the Eagles last season, and Jalen Hurd, who simply couldn't stay healthy. The jury's still on the pair of picks the last 2 years, so we'll give them a pass for now. While they did get some solid contributing stars in cornerback Akella Witherspoon back in 2017, linebacker Fred Warner, who's well on his way to be a Hall of Famer by now, safety Jair Brown from Penn State, and guard Dominic Pooney. Still, with what they were working with, they could have done so much better. It's honestly just confusing to see the Niners reach for guys and give up on them so early. It's like they didn't have a plan for them when they were drafted. This holds true for running backs especially, as Trey Sermon only lasted a year, while Tyrion Davis-Price played for 2 seasons. So it's not looking good for Kalen Black, their third rounder this year. I think that ultimately John Lynch did great in the draft in terms of trading back and acquiring more picks, but they didn't really capitalize on the resources they got in return. At the end of the day, do I think John Lynch is going to get fired because of this? Absolutely not. He and Shanahan have proven that they can win, and that's all that really matters in this league. The concern is that eventually these reaches and bad drafts will catch up to them, especially with an aging roster in a competitive NFC West division. But yeah, hopefully some of these picks turn out to be solid contributors down the road, as we all want them to succeed. Still, it wouldn't be too crazy to see half the draft class be gone within the next couple seasons. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of analysis rant on the Niners draft class. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching.